Max has only recently taken over the car lot, throwing himself into the business in typical branding fashion, confident, determined, and maybe just a little bit too sure of himself. But things haven't exactly been running smoothly, especially with Lauren Branning also in the mix. The father-daughter duo have been butting heads pretty much non-stop, with very different ideas about how to actually sell cars. Max is sticking to his old-school hard-sell approach, while Lauren is trying to do things her own way, with a more modern customer-friendly style. Unsurprisingly, neither of them is willing to back down. Their constant clashing hasn't gone unnoticed either, and it's not long before Oscar Branning decides to step in and shake things up a bit. Clearly fed up with the ongoing tension, he comes up with a plan to settle things once and for all, by putting both Max and Lauren to the test. From there, things quickly turn competitive. Max and Lauren go head-to-head on the car lot, each determined to prove that their way of doing business is the right one. What starts as a bit of healthy competition soon turns into something much more intense, with both of them pulling out all the stops to boost their sales. But in true Max style, he takes things one step further, and this is where it could all go wrong. In a bold move, Max makes Lauren a huge offer. If she manages to sell £80,000 worth of cars within a month, he'll give her half of the business. On one hand, Max clearly believes Lauren won't be able to hit the target. For him, it's probably a way to prove a point and finally put their ongoing argument to bed. But on the other hand, if Lauren actually pulls it off, Max stands to lose a significant chunk of the business he's only just secured. And given Lauren's determination, that's not entirely out of the question. She has been desperate to acquire more pull in the business ever since her father swooped in and took over, and this is her chance. Lauren isn't one to shy away from a challenge, especially when it comes to proving her dad wrong. With the stakes now higher than ever, she throws herself into the task, and it's clear she's not just doing this for the money. There's pride on the line too. Their rivalry adds another layer of tension to the bet, with every sale suddenly feeling like it matters more than ever. There's also a sense that this could end in a serious fallout. Because if Lauren succeeds, Max won't just be eating his words. He'll be handing over half of his business. And if she fails, well, it might only reinforce Max's belief that he knows best, which could create even more friction between them. Either way, it's a risky move that could have lasting consequences for their relationship, as well as the business itself. In the flickering glow of the Queen Vic's neon lights, EastEnders once again proved that no secret stays buried for long, and no deal comes without a price. Max Branning had always been a man who thrived on risk. It was practically stitched into his DNA. But even for him, the proposition Lauren placed on the table felt different, heavier, sharper, like a blade disguised as opportunity. It started quietly. Lauren found him alone in the square gardens, pacing like a caged animal, his phone clutched tightly in his hand. "You look like you've lost something," she said, her tone light but her eyes calculating. Max scoffed. "More like I'm about to." Lauren didn't smile. Instead, she stepped closer, lowering her voice. "What if I told you I could fix that?" That was the moment everything shifted. The deal was simple on the surface, too simple, Max realized later. Lauren needed help covering something up. Something serious. In return, she'd make Max's mounting problems disappear. Debts cleared, threats silenced, a clean slate. But in Walford, simple was never what it seemed. Max hesitated. He'd spent years digging himself out of holes he'd created. Did he really want to jump back in? "What's the catch?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. Lauren tilted her head. "You trust me, don't you?" That question lingered in the air like smoke. Trust. Between them it had always been fragile, bent, broken, rebuilt, and shattered again. Still, Max needed a way out. "All right," he muttered. "I'm listening." The plan unfolded in whispers and late-night meetings. Lauren revealed just enough to pull Max in, but never enough to let him feel safe. Someone had evidence. Damaging evidence. The kind that could ruin lives, destroy reputations, and tear families apart. Lauren needed Max to get it before it surfaced. "And if I don't?" he asked. Lauren's expression hardened. "Then everything you're trying to protect won't matter anymore." Max felt the weight of her words settle in his chest. This wasn't just about money or pride. He agreed. This was survival. First, it felt almost thrilling. The secrecy. The adrenaline. The sense that he was back in control. Max slipped into old habits effortlessly, making calls, pulling strings, manipulating situations. He told himself it was temporary. Just one job, one deal. But Lauren, she was always one step ahead. Every time Max thought he had a clear picture, she shifted the ground beneath him. Details changed. Timelines tightened. Stakes grew higher. You didn't say it would be this risky, he snapped one night, cornering her outside the Minute Mart. I didn't say it wouldn't be, Lauren shot back coolly. Max clenched his jaw. You're playing a dangerous game. Lauren leaned in, her voice almost a whisper. So are you. The turning point came when Max finally discovered the truth. The evidence Lauren wanted wasn't just damaging. It was explosive. It implicated people close to him, people he cared about. Suddenly, the deal wasn't just risky. It was personal. You used me, Max said, confronting her in the dim light of her flat. Lauren didn't deny it. I needed someone who could get the job done. And you thought I wouldn't care who got hurt? I thought you'd do what you always do, she replied coldly. Put yourself first. That hit harder than anything else. Because deep down, Max knew she wasn't entirely wrong. The night everything came to a head was chaos. Sirens echoed through the square. Voices shouted. Doors slammed. Max stood in the middle of it all, the evidence in his hands, his way out, his leverage, his chance to finally win. And Lauren stood opposite him, her expression unreadable. Give it to me, she demanded. Max shook his head. Not this time. For a moment, something flickered in Lauren's eyes. Surprise, maybe even respect. But it was gone as quickly as it appeared. You don't understand what you're doing, she warned. No, Max said quietly. For once I think I do. The aftermath was brutal. Deals collapsed. Alliances shattered. Secrets spilled. Max lost more than he ever expected. Money, trust, and whatever fragile connection he still had with Lauren. But he kept one thing. His choice. Days later, the square returned to its usual rhythm, as if nothing had happened. But beneath the surface, everything had changed. Max sat alone once again, staring out at the familiar streets. Lauren approached him, hesitating before sitting down beside him. You could have walked away, she said softly. Max nodded. Yeah. But you didn't. He looked at her, a faint, tired smile forming. Neither did you. For a moment there was silence. Then Lauren stood, pulling her coat tighter around her. This isn't over, you know. Max watched her go. His expression unreadable. I wouldn't expect it to be, he murmured. Because in Walford, every deal comes back around. And Max Branning had just made one that could cost him everything. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to EastEnders Spoilers Official.